With all the headlines about home prices, stalling activity, and rising interest rates, you may be wondering what is really happening in the housing market and where are things headed in 2023. After being completely overwhelmed in the earlier part of 2022 with what everyone called the buying frenzy and bidding wars, and then the sharp rise in mortgage rates leading to a complete slowdown, many buyers expected, or at least hoped, that we would see a sharp decline in home prices. And here in Southern California, that has not yet manifested. Even with the slowdown in price increases, the absence of big price decreases combined with much higher interest rates is making affordability still the biggest barrier for home buyers. Couple this with the very low number of houses on the market, what we call low inventory, and things are kind of at a stalemate. And although many were expecting that we would shift into a buyer's market, that has not happened in Southern California. I know in some markets like Phoenix, Arizona, for example, they are seeing more of a buyer's market. Now, there are a few key indicators that would need to shift in order for any kind of crash to take place. And I'm going to get into all of it, so definitely stay tuned. But before we go down that rabbit hole, I want to welcome you to South Bay Living YouTube channel, the go-to real estate channel for everything you need to know about living in the beautiful beach cities in the Los Angeles area. I'm Shira, Adatto, your local realtor, and I help you transition from one home to the next seamlessly and for the best price, whether you're buying or selling. So definitely hit that red subscribe button below if you want to stay in the know. And if you're thinking of making a move, not just to Southern California, definitely get in touch with me because I can help you get connected to a great realtor anywhere across the US. Okay, so let's dive in, and remember, these videos are for educational purposes only. This is not financial advice, and you should never consider this as advice to buy a home or not, because that is entirely based on several factors that are highly personal to your unique situation. All economic forecasts are, at the end of the day, speculation, and the information I bring you is more or less a Cliff Notes version of what major players like CoreLogic and Realtor.com are forecasting, and also my opinion based on what I'm seeing on the ground as a local expert. So let's take a look at what we know for sure and one of the major factors driving the slowdown, and that is interest rates. Interest rates rose as high as 7% in the latter part of 2022, the highest they've been since 2002, and the biggest 12-month jump since 1981. I think we can safely say interest rates below 3% are a thing of the past. Many of my mortgage lender partners say they don't think they'll ever be back. High mortgage rates have a direct impact on affordability and are the major influence causing the pullback in buyer demand. And it makes sense, right? When your monthly payment increases by hundreds of dollars and you can no longer afford the homes you thought were in your price range, not to mention the media talking about this impending crash, it's no wonder buyers have pushed pause on their search. Because here's what hasn't happened in Southern California. Prices have not decreased enough to offset the increase in interest rates, and consumers are concerned. All this confusion is leading to paralysis in the market. Now, according to Realtor.com's recent forecast for 2023, they are predicting that rates will stay high through the end of the year, averaging between 7 and 7.5%. In contrast to this, the Mortgage Bankers Association just came out with a statement saying that they are expecting mortgage rates to come down to about 5.5% by the end of 2023 and to as low as 4.5% by the end of 2024. At that point, however, home prices will have increased, so buyers would do better not to wait to buy, but just refinance later when rates come down. The other thing Realtor.com is predicting is that median home prices will increase in 2023 by around 5.4%. CoreLogic, on the other hand, forecasting a roughly 4% year-over-year increase on home prices. Now, that in contrast to some of the bigger names in finance like Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, and Wells Fargo have come out and said they believe home prices could fall as much as 7% depending on the market. So this is consistent with things I've said in previous videos, that we are seeing more of a deceleration in housing price increases, not a decrease as of yet. Deceleration means a slowdown in the pace of the increase, not a decrease. Think of it this way. You're driving on the freeway going 65 miles an hour. You press on the brakes and slow down to 50 miles per hour. You've slowed down, but you're still moving forward. Now, the yearly home price increases of 10 to 20% have definitely slowed down, and 5% is a more healthy, sustainable number. For historical reference, the average home price increase between 2013 and 2019 was 6.4%. In 2021, that number hit 17%, and for 2022, we're expected to close the year at around 10%. This is data from Nationwide, by the way. So I'm curious, what do you think of that 5.4% prediction from Realtor.com? Considering that interest rates are predicted to remain high through 2023, 5.4% seems kind of bullish to me. I think we could see prices soften a little more, but I don't have a crystal ball, and with demand being so high in this area and still not a lot of inventory, the median home price is for now holding steady. In the last month, the majority of homes were selling at or around list price, with only around 37% seeing price reductions of list to sale ratio. Homes on average are taking about 23 days to sell. Yes, that's up from 7 days during the frenzy, but it's still not too bad. And as of October 2022, overall home sales in Southern California have decreased by around 40% year over year. That's not the prices, but the number of homes sold. So now what about the crash the media loves to hint at? Well, in order for that to happen, we would have to see a massive influx of homes for sale on the market, which is not predicted to happen. The same high interest rates that are affecting buyers are also affecting sellers, many of whom are sitting pretty with their 3% interest rate, making them reluctant to sell and have to go out and buy another home at a 7% interest rate. Here are some other key differences between today's housing market and the one in the mid-2000s that went bust, and why experts don't feel there will be a crash. In the lead up to the last bubble, there were far more homes available for sale than there were buyers for them. The opposite is true today. What's causing the slowdown now is the hesitancy of buyers and the affordability and economic uncertainty, not a massive oversupply issue. Another key difference from 2008 is that people also have more equity in their homes. So that means that even if prices do go down, most homeowners will simply stay put to weather the storm. If they lose their jobs and can't afford their mortgages, they're more likely to list their homes for sale than go into foreclosure because they would likely still come out ahead with some profit. So without another wave of foreclosures flooding the market with cheap real estate, prices are expected to remain stable. So in summary, experts are not worried about a big wave of foreclosures coming in 2023, which should prevent any kind of big crash from happening. Mortgage rates are expected to continue to ebb and flow as the feds try to fight inflation, and that's causing a pause in the market, which could be temporary. Rates should start to ease towards the end of 2023. Fewer homes are selling over list price. Buyers currently have way more leverage, but we are not quite in a buyer's market. Inventory is still historically low, which experts predict will keep prices from any kind of dramatic dips, and home prices will likely stay kind of level. If you're thinking of making a move and want to discuss your personal situation, you can always reach out. All my contact info is in the description below. Even if you're not moving to the LA area, I can actually connect you with a highly skilled, ethical real estate agent who I have personally vetted to save you the time and energy. And trust me that a personal recommendation is always preferred over a random Google search.